Dewey, There's a Cat in the Library by Vicki, Myron, and Bret Witter. Illustrated by Steve James. Every night, people left books in the return box of the library in the small town of Spencer, Iowa. Funny books, big books, truck books, pig books, they left them all. But one night, on the coldest night of the year, someone left a strange surprise. A tiny kitten. When Vicki the librarian found him the next morning, the kitten was cold and scared and very, very dirty. Vicki took one look and decided to give him a warm bath. The kitten went into the sink, brown and crying, but he came out orange and purring. "I'm gonna keep you," said Vicki, who already loved him. "Well, we'll name you Dewey. Dewey, read more books. You can live here and be our library cat." But Dewey had no idea what it meant to be a library cat, so he did what all kittens do. He played. He lounged on the newspaper, rode the book trolley, and knocked pens to the floor. He goofed around with Marty Mouse, snooped in every open drawer, and always found at least one rubber band. So there he is, being mischievous. But what Dewey loved most of all was people. Tall ones, round ones, quiet ones, loud ones. The little ones, however, surprised him, and not always in a good way. "Look, Nathan," said his mummy, "there's a cat in the library." Nathan bent down and said, "Hi, Hooey Dewey Gooks." "No," said his sister Hannah, "it's Dewey, read more books." Dewey squirmed. The boy was stroking him in the wrong direction. Dewey loved to be stroked, but he hated being stroked in the wrong direction. So he's petting the cat. He's pulling his fur backwards. Dewey was licking his fur back into place when he heard a strange noise. Wah! Dewey's ears perked up. He looked around. Wah! Wah! Dewey sprang to his attention and he crept really slowly towards the sound. That's where the sound is coming from. Surprise! The little people, Dewey discovered, came in tiny sizes too, and they loved to giggle and grab and pull and coo. Babies are wonderful, Dewey thought. Cute and smell-licious too. There's the baby touching his fur. A few days later, Dewey went exploring and discovered in a secret room the most exciting thing he had ever seen. Children's Story Hour. Wowsy whiskers, this looks fun, Dewey thought, as he pushed into the room with his nose. Someone shouted, "There's a cat in the library!" and Dewey froze. Didn't see him. It was quiet for 1 minute. Then everything went wild. So all the kids are playing with Dewey. And the next thing Dewey knew, he was being carried upside down. "Oh my," Dewey thought, "what should I do now?" There he is, being carried upside down. Later that night, Dewey talked to his friend Marty Mouse. "The library is a wonderful place," Dewey said, "but I'm tired of being pulled and poked and carried upside down. I'm not just a cat in a library, I'm a library cat. A library cat helps people, I think, and I'm 92% convinced that that's the reason that I'm around." Marty Mouse didn't say anything. "I'm gonna do it," Dewey said. "I'm gonna help people." And he felt so happy that he threw Marty Mouse into the air, kicked him in his back legs, and then slept on him like a pillow. The next morning, when the first people arrived, Dewey was waiting to greet them right by the front door. All morning, Dewey acted like a library cat. He read with the mummies and the grandmas. He helped the daddies work. He even shelved books with the library clerk. When he saw little Nathan, he turned a circle and a half so the boy could stroke his back from head down to his tail, the right direction to stroke a cat. "I'm glad we're friends, Dooley Wooley," Nathan said. Dewey smiled at that. By lunchtime, Dewey was worn out, so he found a good box. First, he put his front paws inside, then his belly. He squished his back end down, wiggled around until he was all the way in, and he closed his eyes. "There's an orange muffin in the library," a girl giggled. So there they see him in the bag. But just as Dewey was about to drift off into sweet kitten dreams, he heard a heavy sigh. His eyes popped open and he saw a girl on the other side of the library. A sad little girl reading very quietly all by herself. He climbed up close and stared at her. She looked the other way. He sniffed her hand, but she wouldn't play. He knocked her mittens to the floor. She let them stay. Then he saw her jacket and had his best idea yet. "Silly always works. I'll be a silly cat today." The girl stared at Dewey. "You look like a fuzzy hot dog in a purple bun," she said, and then she surprised him. So there he is, wrapped up in her coat sleeve. She laughed right out loud. "I love you, Dewey. Read more books," the girl whispered, as Dewey nestled into her lap and began to purr. This is it, Dewey thought. I'm a real library cat, and it feels great. No, it felt better than great. It felt perfect. All right. So our craft today is to make our own Dewey the library cat. So we're going to start with some yellow craft sticks. So if you don't have the yellow ones at home, then you can just color them yellow with crayons or markers or paint. And I'm going to take an orange crayon, so a dark orange crayon, and I'm going to put my stripes on there for my cat, because in our story Dewey was an orange cat and he had some dark orange stripes. So I'm just going to do that first before we move on. And then to make the legs, I just took a craft stick and cut it in half. You're going to need a little bit of a bigger pair of scissors to do that. If you use too small of scissors, then the scissors usually end up breaking. So some legs, and I'm going to again put our stripes on there because it was a striped cat. So I find that the crayon works nicely on there. If you have markers, you can do markers as well. Certainly paint too. So we have 4 legs because Dewey has all his legs. So we're going to add those onto our cat. So I'm going to use my tacky glue, and I'm just going to add some spots of glue on the back of my stick here. And then I'm going to add my legs. So just sort of a little bit out of an angle so he kind of looks like he's walking. And we'll just let those set. So once you've got those on and those are kind of drying a little, we're going to move on to the head. So I just took a piece of craft foam, and really it can be any color. You can use white, gray, or whatever, because I just sort of went over top of it with my orange crayon to give it a similar colorings to my so that's going to be his head, and I just sort of cut out an oval. So if you're not comfortable just cutting an oval, you can take your crayon and kind of draw your shape of the head first, and that's going to be my oval, and also some ears. So I'm just going to use the corners of my craft foam here, and I'm going to use those as my ears. I have those up there, so I'm going to get my pink crayon, and I'm just going to color the corners of my ears pink. All right. And then I'm going to attach those onto the back of my head. This is my cat's face. So you just attach those whatever direction you want for your cat ears. And then I have a Sharpie, so that's how I'm going to go ahead and make the face of my cat. So two eyes, and then I'm going to do my nose in the center, and then I'm going to use my Sharpie to draw the mouth. So I just did 2 loops, and then from there I'm going to draw his whiskers. So I'm just going to do some whiskers there, and some little dots where his whiskers come out. So that's my cat face, and you can draw your cat face if you're familiar with making a cat face. You can do that as well. So then I'm going to attach my head onto my sticks. So we're going to need some more glue on the front of our stick. And then you can just attach that as low or as high as you want, depending how you want his head to look on there. And then for the tail, I just took some pieces of really fluffy pipe cleaner. So I did 2 different colors so you could kind of stick with our striped idea. And I'm just going to twist those together. So that's going to give our tail the striped look. And then to get that to stick on the back of your cat, I'm going to attach it here, but you're going to have to use quite a bit of glue, and it's going to need a little bit of time to dry, so it's going to have to lay flat. But I'm going to attach mine and show you what it will look like. And then you can shape your tail however you want. So when cats are happy and friendly, usually their tail's pointing up. So I'm just going to attach that where I have all that glue. And once it's dry, you'll be able to play with it. But until then, you might have to leave it laying flat. So once it's dried, this is what your Dewey the library cat looks like.